Welcome to This Explainer. Look, for the last couple of years, we've all been spoon-fed this really cozy narrative, right? The idea that artificial intelligence is just going to be this helpful little assistant that makes our jobs a bit easier. Well, the financial data for 2026 is officially rolling in, and the corporate reality? It's looking vastly different. Today, we're cutting through the noise. We're going to look directly at the hard numbers, the specific roles on the chopping block, and the undeniable economic forces driving what experts are now calling a historic labor market contraction.
Okay, let's just dive right in and hit this massive number right out of the gate. 54,800. That is the number of verified US AI-linked job cuts in 2025 alone. I mean, this isn't some wild projection for a distant sci-fi future. This is verified market data showing exactly what went down last year. It completely shatters that early myth of AI as just a friendly augmentation tool. When enterprise companies plug in these incredibly mature large language models, they aren't trying to lighten your workload. They are hunting for massive return on investment, and unfortunately, that usually means headcount reduction.
So here's our game plan for today. We're going to hit the labor contraction timeline, break down the task versus job illusion, look at who's at immediate risk, check in on Wall Street's automation, bust the job creation myth, and then map out your career survival blueprint.
All right, part one, the AI labor contraction. Let's see how fast this is actually moving.
The sheer pace of this change is just incredibly rapid. It's basically a snowball rolling down a hill, shifting straight from an optimistic narrative into massive displacement. Think about it. Back in 2023, when ChatGPT really blew up, a Penn study found that 80% of workers were exposed to AI. But it was just exposure, right? Then the real-world financial impact kicked in. In 2024, we saw about 12,500 US jobs explicitly cut due to AI. Just 1 year later, boom, that number more than quadrupled to nearly 55,000. And now, sitting here in 2026, the World Economic Forum is projecting 85 million jobs globally displaced. The acceleration here is absolutely wild. To put that into perspective, Microsoft's AI chief, Mustafa Suleyman, literally put a stopwatch on this recently, stating that all white-collar work could be automated within 18 months. Now, whether that exact 18-month timeline plays out perfectly or stretches just a bit, the underlying message is crystal clear. Your window to adapt is shrinking drastically. The tech is evolving way faster than corporate infrastructure usually moves, but trust me, executives are highly motivated to integrate it.
Moving on to Section 2, the task versus job illusion.
We've got to clear up a really dangerous misconception right now. Automating a task is not the same thing as eliminating a job. But in the enterprise space, it's all just a cold financial calculation. The goal is maximizing cost savings by replacing human overhead, salaries, benefits, office space, with maturing LLM architectures. Enterprises are laser-focused on actual financial returns. They're definitely not dropping millions on AI infrastructure just so their analysts can clock out at 3 p.m. And this brings us to the disconnect between theoretical efficiency and actual corporate accounting. We've all heard the comforting lie, right? Oh, if AI automates 40% of your daily tasks, you get 40% more free time to be super creative. Yeah, no. The reality of enterprise efficiency is way harsher. If an AI agent can automate 40% of the busy work across a 5-person team, the company doesn't give 5 people an easier work week. They lay off 2 people and have the remaining 3 wrangle the AI output. Automating tasks inevitably equals headcount reduction, period.
Okay, Section 3, roles at immediate risk. Let's talk about who is actually in the crosshairs.
According to a massive recent survey of 6,000 executives by the National Bureau of Economic Research, over a third, 37% to be exact, are actively planning to swap out workers for AI by the end of this year. This is not some vague 5-year corporate vision. It is an active, on-the-ground strategy. When more than 1 in 3 executives are actively pulling the trigger on replacing human labor with automated workflows, we really have to ask, who exactly are they replacing?
Well, the targets are pretty clear. Data entry, basic financial analysis, junior analysts, copywriters, and yep, middle management. If your day-to-day involves routing spreadsheets or middle management admin, you are literally sitting at ground zero. AI is already proving incredibly capable of handling 50% or more of those specific duties. Plus, we're seeing a massive flattening of corporate structures. The middle management squeeze is incredibly real, because if AI is doing the heavy lifting of your junior analysts, you suddenly don't need armies of middle managers to oversee them.
The leaders building this stuff know exactly what's coming. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei recently warned that AI could wipe out half of all entry-level white-collar jobs within 5
Years. Half. That is a brutal reality check, especially for recent college grads. Those traditional stepping stone jobs, the ones where you used to learn the ropes, are precisely the routine, data-heavy roles that AI absolutely excels at executing, and it does it for a fraction of the cost.
Section 4. Wall Street and Automation.
Let's look at the financial capital of the world to see this playing out in real time. 200,000. That's the staggering number of back-office banking roles currently on the chopping block as Wall Street aggressively automates its financial workflows. Major firms are deploying AI agents to handle all that massive data processing, compliance checking, and basic reporting. This proves that even high-skill, highly paid industries are not immune.
But wait, there's a knock-on effect here that nobody likes to talk about. Even if you manage to keep your job, this structural shift is causing severe salary deflation for mid-level corporate pros. It's just basic economics. AI shrinks the overall number of available jobs, the market suddenly floods with experienced talent, and guess what? Companies realize they can, and absolutely will, offer way lower compensation.
Which brings us perfectly to Section 5, the job creation myth.
We constantly hear this line that AI, just like the internet or the Industrial Revolution, is going to create millions of new tech jobs to replace the old ones. But there is a glaring math problem with that narrative. Wall Street Journal data shows the AI boom has created around 640,000 new AI-specific roles globally. Sounds great, right? Until you stack it against the World Economic Forum's projection of 85 million displaced workers. It is a drop in the ocean. The hundreds of thousands of new roles are completely, overwhelmingly eclipsed by the sheer scale of job loss. And honestly, you can toss that old just learn to code advice right out the window. For years, that was the default safe haven. But it's failing right now because AI software engineering capabilities are accelerating just as fast as everything else. Pivoting into basic programming isn't a safety net anymore when AI agents can write, debug, and deploy standard code way faster than a junior developer ever could.
All right, final section, number 6, your career survival blueprint.
So, what is the game plan here? How do we actually navigate this shift over the next few years? You have got to run toward the things AI simply cannot do. Step 1, pivot away from routine task execution immediately. If your job can be described in a step-by-step manual, it's gone. Step 2, double down heavily on strategic judgment. An AI can hand you 50 brilliant data points, sure, but a human still has to look at the messy context of a volatile market and make the actual business call. And step 3, develop complex ethical decision-making skills. Navigating tricky corporate parameters and actually leading teams through uncertainty, those are your safe havens. Enterprises will absolutely still pay a premium for genuine human foresight and leadership. I want to leave you with this one provocative question to really chew on as you look at your own career timeline. When your daily, routine tasks are fully automated, and they will be, what unique strategic value are you going to bring to the boardroom? What actually makes you irreplaceable? The data is crystal clear. The financial incentives for these corporations are just too massive to ignore, and your timeline is short. Use this explainer as your wake-up call to start adapting your skill set toward strategy and judgment today. Thanks for hanging out with me, and keep evolving.